Hey, everybody, and welcome to Talk About It Tuesday. Welcome to my good friend, Mrs. Elisa Johnson, sorry. Joining me for the first time here on Talk About It Tuesday.
Hi.
Thanks for joining me.
I'm happy to be here. Glad to get the chance to discuss this sermon with you.
Yeah. Well, you may or may not have heard, Elisa has stepped into a new role here at Movement as our all-new discipleship pastor. And I thought that was a really good opportunity for you to jump in here and help us spend a couple minutes getting closer to Jesus.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I think that Brandon, he delivered this message just a couple days ago talking about stepping away from technology in order to show up more fully for the work that Jesus is doing in us and through us. And I don't know about you, but this message was challenging for me on so many different ways and levels. I feel like for me personally, my cell phone is one of the biggest distractions in my life.
Definitely same.
And, like in so many ways, we're dependent on it for the work we do and for connecting with people, connecting with you. But at the same time, it presents a lot of distraction. And I know a lot of times it's like the first thing I check in the morning, the last thing I'm doing before I go to sleep. And I don't think that that's how we were created to live.
This I agree. And this topic I think is like a really muddy one for me because I work on Facebook, literally.
Right.
I mean, I run an online business. It's considered social selling. And so, I'm on Facebook a lot, but it's my job. So, sometimes I can feel like a little bit attacked when we're talking about social media.
Personal.
Yeah. And I'm like, but this is my job. So, but then if I do like a real evaluation of the time that I spend on Facebook, I'm like, okay, I'm not working right now. I've literally been sitting here scrolling aimlessly for 20 minutes and now,
Do you get the screen time reports at the end of every week?
No.
That's like the number one way to just like immediately feel shame is like my phone will tell me, it'll be like, you spent this much time on your screen.
I do get it on my laptop.
An average of this. And it's like, it's down 20% from last week or up 15%. Man. And I'm not exactly the same, but a lot of the work I do throughout the week does happen online. I'm sending emails or I'm talking with people over Facebook or I'm texting and making that distinction between our work, but then how easy it is to just jump into scrolling Instagram or scrolling Twitter. It's just really, really insidious, I want to say. And also, we know
nefarious. By the way, it's National Thesaurus Day, so
beautiful. Look at you using wonderful words. We know too that apps are designed to keep our attention. They literally have learned about brain chemistry,
it's crazy,
and chemicals and the pathways in our brains, and they target, like they create the apps and they create technology in such a way that we're going to be drawn in and we're going to stay on for longer amounts of time
for the purpose of keeping us there. Yeah.
It's kind of
driven by
crazy.
Ads and
so I think for that reason, it's important that we do fight that shame because when we fall down that spiral, it's almost like we're just falling into what this program was designed to do. And I think we need to be really intentional to step away from that and to begin to walk in the pattern in the way of Jesus, where we're just paying attention to our real lives.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Brandon gave us a couple of practical challenges that we could do this week to try and put some distance between our devices and ourselves. And we'd love to hear from you guys if you're doing any of these challenges. Before this, actually, like right at the beginning of this series, I had actually started if you have an iPhone, there's a thing called Focus. And you can, it used to be Do Not Disturb, where you would just put it on, you wouldn't get any notifications. But now you can set different settings, and it's like work or like bedtime and things like that. So I set a work focus and I set a bedtime focus so that at 10:30 or whatever it says, it's time to wind down and start getting ready for bed. And so that's my cue to the phone's got to go. But there were a couple practical challenges that he gave us. It was deleting social media off of your phone, putting your phone to bed. So maybe that would involve getting like a real actual alarm clock and putting it in your bedroom. And what else was it?
Driving without
Yep.
distractions, driving without listening to music or
Podcasts.
podcasts,
Yeah.
and praying and
I do
listening
that
to
anyway,
Jesus.
actually.
Yeah.
And there was one other one, and of course it just left me now. Deleting the social media, not getting on the phone for the first 30 minutes when you get up. So we'd love to hear from you guys if you're doing any of those. I have a feeling you probably already do some of that.
Yeah, again, like I said, I would say my technology is one of my biggest distractions in my life. And so it is something that I'm intentionally, constantly working to better manage, even my relationship with technology. And so one of the challenges, I had practiced pretty faithfully for a while, and then some of our life circumstances changed, and it wasn't really possible to practice in the same way. But is the idea of putting your phone to bed. And so that's something that in this season I'm working to do again. And I think he even challenged us to set it away an hour before you plan to go to bed. And so I've been doing that the last couple of nights, and spending an hour reading or praying and spending time with Rhett. And again, like I'm immediately just noticing that difference, the mental energy, the mental space that it clears up when we're not distracted 24/7.
Yeah, that's good. I think I'm going to order an alarm clock and get the phone away from my nightstand.
Yeah, we have an alarm clock and that's what we try to use. So it's tough though. Like again, I think we've just become dependent on it.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
Josh said last week that how many of us have even turned off our phones recently? I can't remember the last time I did that.
Or when he said, Brandon, when he said, 90%, I think, of people live with their phones within hand's reach 24/7. And I would say that's probably me for the most part.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't remember the number that he said, but I think that I remember seeing a statistic online that we touch our phones like 20,000 times, or maybe it was 2,000. Whatever it was way too many. Way too many.
Yep.
I mean,
and I think it's important that we have conversations like this because so many of us are struggling with this, and it's way too easy to fall into shame about it and just feel like I'm a horrible person. I'm addicted to my phone. I'm never going to be free of this. And that was part of why I appreciated too his vulnerability and sharing the ways it's been challenging for him, but also just being sure to say that this isn't something we need to be ashamed of because shame just keeps us isolated. It keeps us in the darkness, but it is something we can recognize and begin to take steps towards changing together and encouraging one another to make those changes in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have felt like shame and guilt over it because I think and even my son said something to me about it the other day because I mentioned to them that he was playing a video game right after the service, and then in the time between the first and second, I was like, hey, we just heard a message on this. You should probably not be playing the video game and talking to people. And he's like, yeah, well, yeah, what about you on Facebook all day? And I'm just like, so they don't understand, really what I do is on Facebook, but then I'm just like, I just constantly feel judged about it all the time. And but I mean, with that said, if I did have proper parameters around it, I probably wouldn't feel like that,
Right. Yeah. And I think that's part of it is we know that living a life that isn't redlined, putting these boundaries in place, it's not because we need to check off a list of rules. It's not because this is, what we need to do to earn God's love or anything like this. But I really believe that it's an invitation God has for us to walk in freedom, to walk not being enslaved to our screens.
Yep, definitely.
To live to, again, just pay attention to the lives that are in front of us, to the work he's doing, to the words he's speaking to us. And I think that's the best way because I think that aligns with how we were created to live.
For sure. And before we sign off here, real quick, you wanted to mention about Romans 12 and how, this can be an act of worship, how setting apart time can be, presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice to the Lord. And ultimately, that's what we want to do in every single area of our lives. So this really is no different.
Yeah, exactly. I think, using that scripture was so good for all of us. But in Romans 12, we're called to live as living sacrifices, and to renew our minds, to not conform to the pattern of this world. And I think for so many of us, we've lived in that pattern of 24/7 accessibility, 24/7 distraction. And Jesus is inviting us into a different way, a way where we are honoring God, we're knowing His will, we're testing and being able to discern what He has for us in different seasons, and worshiping Him with every single aspect of our lives. And again, I think that aligns with who we were created to be as humans, and I think it's best for us.
So good. Well, thank you, Elisa, for joining me. This is the first time, but it definitely won't be the last. We'll be seeing Elisa here regularly with us, as well as Eric. And if you missed the first and second part of
REDTalks.
Thank you. I was going to say Red Line. REDTalks. You can catch that on YouTube at Move 603 or here on Facebook. And you can also go back and watch Talk About It Tuesday. We're here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. and then Sunday mornings, 9:30 and 11. We hope you will join us here next week.
We hope you have a great week. Let us know if you have any questions or thoughts. We'd love to hear from you.
Have a great week.